Have you ever asked yourself why you no longer feel the same desire as before? Why every morning you wake up, you don't feel alive anymore? And then you think maybe it's aging, maybe stress, or maybe love fading away? But what if I told you it's not simply aging, it's a silent cry from within your body, where your smallest, most sensitive blood vessels are slowly clogging up, quietly closing the door to connection. I'm Dr. James, a men's health specialist for over 30 years. I've sat with hundreds of men over 60, men who once believed their time was up, but they came back stronger, more alive, and more connected, not because of medication, but through nature. Not through luck, but through 4 forgotten herbs that can reopen blood flow and revive the belief that you are still a complete man. If you've ever felt like you're fading inside your own body, then this video is for you. If you've ever felt distant from your partner, even though you're side by side every day, then this is a reminder that you are not alone. And if you're ready to reclaim sensation, confidence, and connection in a natural way without relying on medication, then walk this path with me. Before we begin, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and comment 1 if you believe that aging is not the end of vitality, but an invitation to rediscover yourself. I still remember a quiet early autumn afternoon when a man named Walter, 68 years old, knocked on my office door. He walked in with a composed demeanor, but there was something vague, something sorrowful behind his eyes. A sadness without a name. Walter had retired after more than 40 years of working, had a kind wife by his side and a peaceful home. But when I asked how he was feeling, he looked at me for a long time and slowly said, "Doctor, I'm still alive, but it feels like a part of me is gone. I still love my wife, but I don't feel truly connected to her anymore." Walter wasn't sick. His blood work was fine, his heart healthy, his blood pressure well under control. But he was going through something that millions of men after 60 silently endure, the feeling of losing the man in themselves. Not because he didn't want to, but because his body no longer responded. I started with something simple yet profound, a traditional herb known in Eastern medicine as manroot, ginseng, specifically Korean red panax ginseng. To me, ginseng is not a miracle cure as advertised, but it is the key to awakening blood flow, that silent force behind male vitality, sensation, and the intimate connection between two people. You see, within our bodies are tiny blood vessels, so small you can't even see them with the naked eye. They lie deep in the pelvic region, the very area responsible for sensation, for erections, and for the warmth in an embrace. But over time, these vessels gradually narrow and become clogged. No pain, no fever. But they quietly steal the most vital thing, the feeling of being a man. Ginseng, especially standardized Korean red panax ginseng, contains compounds called ginsenosides. These help the body produce nitric oxide, a molecule that dilates blood vessels, clears the path, and most importantly, delivers blood where it's needed most, to the areas where you thought feeling was lost. After 3 weeks of taking 600 milligrams each morning, Walter returned. But this time, he didn't walk in sluggishly. His head was held high, and there was a new brightness in his eyes. He smiled and said, "I don't know what you gave me, doctor, but I feel like I've been awakened. My mind feels clearer, my body responds again, and my wife, she looks at me differently now." I knew exactly what was happening. It wasn't magic. It was blood flowing at the right time, in the right place. It was life returning, connection rekindled, manhood slowly rising again after years of dormancy. But I have one important note for those who want to start like Walter. Not all ginseng is effective. Make sure to get Korean red panax ginseng, standardized to at least 5% ginsenosides. Take 600 milligrams each morning, and don't expect miracles overnight. Expect a slow, steady recovery, but one that is deep and very real. If you've been feeling distant, cold, or disconnected from the person you once loved dearly, your body might be speaking to you. And ginseng may just be the first answer. But the journey doesn't end here. Because if ginseng is the spark that ignites the engine, the next herb I'll share helps keep that blood flowing, steadily and warmly, to the very place you long to feel alive again. I know the name Horny Goat Weed sounds funny. Many of my patients burst out laughing the first time they heard it. They thought I was joking or talking about some strange product sold on shady websites, not something to be brought up in a serious medical conversation. But then I looked them in the eye and said, I've used this herb for hundreds of older men, and they recovered quietly, naturally, and sustainably. That's when they stopped laughing. Horny goat weed, scientifically known as epimedium, isn't folklore, it's science. And I believe that after ginseng, this is the keeper of the flame for anyone seeking to reclaim a sense of vitality after 60. This herb contains a powerful compound called icariin, which inhibits the PDE5 enzyme, the same enzyme targeted by well-known drugs like Viagra. But instead of forcing the body to react strongly in a short burst, epimedium works differently. It gently restores blood vessels, little by little, in harmony with your body's natural rhythms. You can think of it not as flipping a light switch to full brightness, but as slowly pulling back the curtain to let sunlight gradually pour in. Not rushed, not forced, but clear and warm. There was a man named Glenn, 72 years old, who once came to see me with a raspy voice and a look of quiet despair. He had worked as a construction worker for 45 years, a good husband, a devoted father, and he said, "Doctor, for me this isn't about performance anymore. I just want to feel close again, to reconnect with my wife. I want to feel like I'm still me." I prescribed him a high-quality epimedium supplement with at least 10% icariin to be taken daily, about 500 mils per day. I told him not to expect overnight miracles. Let time lead the way. A month later, Glenn came back. He didn't say much, just nodded, smiled, and whispered a sentence that brought tears to my eyes. "It didn't come suddenly, doctor, but it's real. Like someone turned on a light in a room I thought would stay dark forever." You see, epimedium doesn't create a fake burning sensation. It restores blood flow, and with it, the vitality in places you once thought lost. At first, you may notice you feel warmer in the morning. Then emotions begin to return. And sometimes, what's reborn is not just the body, but the connection between two souls who haven't truly touched in a long time. Another special benefit, this herb can slightly boost testosterone and lower cortisol, the stress hormone. And stress, whether about health, money, or the loneliness of an empty nest, is a silent thief of desire. This testosterone drop isn't your fault, but epimedium might be your companion on the road back. I always remind patients, use the correct dose, 250 to 500 milligrams/day, standardized to at least 10% icariin. And above all, be patient. This is no silver bullet. This is a slow, steady fire, and it gives real warmth. So if ginseng unlocks the door, then horny goat weed is the blood flow that keeps nourishing the feeling bit by bit, day by day, until you no longer feel lost, but reborn, strong, and able to love. In every sense of the word. And this journey isn't over, because sometimes, even when blood is flowing, the path to the deepest places where emotion begins remains blocked. That's when we need a quiet trailblazer, an herb that's been forgotten, yet holds the key to emotional vibrancy. Deep within the male body, I won't blame you if the name Ginkgo Biloba makes you think of a brain supplement. It's true, ginkgo is often seen as a memory aid, a kind of vitamin for the mind that many people try, then forget about. But what most don't know is ginkgo doesn't just help blood reach the brain. It's also a quiet trailblazer, helping blood reach the places where feelings and connection begin. The smallest blood vessels in the body aren't in the heart or lungs. They're in two crucial places, the brain and pelvic region. These are the vessels blood must reach for you to feel, to respond, to love. The problem? These are also the vessels most easily forgotten over time. They narrow, lose elasticity, and then sensation slowly fades away. No warning bell, no pain, just a long silence, and a growing distance between two people who once meant everything to each other. There was a man named Thomas, 70 years old, a former military man, who came to see me appearing perfectly healthy. No diabetes, no obesity, blood pressure under control. But he looked at me and said, "Doctor, I don't know why, I just don't feel anything anymore. Not just in my body, but in my soul. It's like my body stopped speaking to me." I started him on Ginkgo Biloba, 120 milligrams twice a day, and I told him, wait, this isn't medicine. It's a message to the forgotten roads in your body. 4 weeks later, he said he felt more alert, mentally clearer, but by the 6th week, he shared something that truly moved me. "Doctor, I feel like I can feel again. Not just physically, but emotionally. Like something is flowing again inside me, for real. Ginkgo works subtly. It doesn't push, it loosens. It doesn't force, it opens. It helps blood reach the tiniest pathways, where life and emotion begin, places you thought were sealed shut forever." Medically, Ginkgo is known as a natural anti-platelet agent that reduces blood vessel inflammation and improves microcirculation, meaning blood reaches even the smallest capillaries, nourishing the farthest regions of your body, especially the genital area where sensitivity is born. And the best part is, once blood flows smoothly again, you feel more clearly and connect more deeply. The way you hold your wife's hand, the way you walk, the way you smile, the way you're fully present in a moment of intimacy, that's not just sex, that's love, quietly returning yet powerfully. If you've felt numb, not because you lost desire, but because your body stopped responding, you may not lack emotion, you may just lack blood where it matters. And Ginkgo is the guide to help you find yourself again. One final note, don't expect instant results. Ginkgo isn't a spotlight flipping on in the dark, it's the dawn light slowly pouring into a room that's been closed too long. And if you've let that light reach the tiniest paths in your body, then now we'll move to the final part, where your body's signals and hormones awaken once more, bringing you back to vitality, confidence, and the masculine essence you thought time had taken away. There's something I've consistently observed in men over the age of 60. They don't lose their masculinity. They just start questioning whether they still deserve to be called a man. It's not because they've gotten weaker, but because something crucial inside them, a biological fire, a hormonal flame, is quietly fading. A man named Richard, 74, widowed for 3 years, came to see me one rainy afternoon. He had recently started a new relationship with a gentle, caring companion. But then he sighed and said, "I'm happy she is with me, but I don't feel like a real man anymore. Something inside me is slowly slipping away." When I heard that, I knew the problem wasn't about emotions or blood flow anymore. It was about signals inside his body, where once powerful hormones were now reduced to faint whispers. So I started Richard on Tribulus Terrestris, a modest herb with extraordinary power. Unlike synthetic hormone drugs that can cause side effects and throw the body out of balance, Tribulus doesn't replace your body's function. It reminds your body how to work like it used to. Specifically, it stimulates the pituitary gland to increase LH hormone, which signals the testes to produce testosterone naturally again. And when testosterone begins to rise, the magic begins. Blood flows more freely, mood lifts, the body feels lighter, and most importantly, self-confidence starts to return. After 6 weeks of taking 500 milligrams per day, standardized to 45% saponins, Richard returned to my clinic. This time, he was no longer a weary old man with a doubtful gaze. He was a man with steady eyes and a clear voice. He smiled and said, "I don't feel young again, but I feel alive again. It's like every part of me is present. Completely." That is the power of Tribulus. It's not a quick stimulant. It's a gentle awakening of the man within you, the version of you that was once strong, connected, and full of vitality. What's more, Tribulus enhances pelvic blood vessel tone, improves circulation, supports heart health, and increases physical energy. A small herb, but it knocks on the very door that many men have left shut and dusty for far too long. If you've ever said, "Or not myself anymore," then I want you to know you're not wrong, but you've never run out of chances. All you may need is one step forward, a journey to restore your inner hormones. No harsh drugs, no surgeries, just understanding, persistence, and the belief that you deserve to feel fully alive again. And that is what Tribulus Terrestris offers. Not youth returning, but masculinity rising at the right time in the right man for the meaningful chapter ahead of his life. So here we are, at the end of a journey most men never even dare to face, let alone begin. We've talked about Ginseng, the one who awakens the blood. Horny Goat Weed, the keeper of the fading flame. Ginkgo Biloba, the one who opens blocked emotional pathways. And finally, Tribulus Terrestris, the gentle reminder that your hormones and your manhood were never truly gone. They were simply waiting to be reawakened. See, vitality, joy, intimacy, they don't expire. They don't vanish just because you turn 60. They only fade if we stop listening to our body. If we assume this is just how it is now that I'm old. But if you've listened this far, if something in your chest still stirs, a longing, a whisper that says, "I'm still here, I'm still me," then you've already taken the most important step. You've stepped out of silence. You've stepped toward life. I won't promise that these herbs will turn you into a 25-year-old again. I won't promise overnight miracles, but I will promise you this. If you stay consistent, learn well, and act with respect for your own body, you will feel life return from the inside out. Not flashy, not loud, but steady, clear, and deeply real. I've seen it in Walter, who reconnected with his wife, and Glenn, who longed to feel close to his partner again, in Thomas, who thought he had lost all sensation forever, and in Richards, who reclaimed his manhood when he thought aging meant it was over. They didn't become younger, but they came alive again. And now, it's your turn. If you've ever felt like a part of you was slipping away, if you've ever wrestled in silence, unsure who to ask or where to begin, then this is your moment. Start with one small thing, a bottle of ginseng, a dose of ginkgo, 1 week of steady use. Talk to your partner, hold her hand, tell her you want to come back, not just to her, but to yourself. And if this video resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Click like, share it, and hit subscribe so you don't miss any healing content made specifically for men over 60. Finally, if you feel like your story isn't over yet, that this journey is still unfolding, comment below, "I'm not done." Because I believe you're truly not done. You're just beginning again, as a wiser, deeper, stronger version of yourself.